Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony and the channel is Tony Talks Cards. We are a week away from the first full day of the National. It's Thursday of the week before. I'll be there on Wednesday through Saturday. If you see me, yell my name out, tap my shoulder. I'd love to meet you. And if I see you and someone I've met with, interacted with, commented on, I'll be coming up and saying hi to you as well. So looking forward to that aspect of the show, which I haven't had in prior years, and all the meetups and get-togethers, the YouTube Hangout Thursday night at the MZ Suites, and the Vintage Trade Night on Saturday evening. So fun, full weekend of looking at cards and things I can't afford. It's almost like a museum to me, some of those displays, and meeting up with others. And the smell of old cardboard and vintage stuff in that room just is a great smell to me. So anyway, that's my intro there. But this is going to be a quick follow-up on a grading video that I did, plus talking about one other topic on how do you value your vintage cards or value your card collection in general. Not sure how the thumbnail is going to come out yet, but that's the general topic. Got a lot of views on that grading SGC PSA video, and thank you for all those who watched, commented, and left me a note on that. Thank you for letting me share my opinion. Part of my YouTube journey is not just sharing the cards I collect and meeting up with others and meeting others who feel the same way about cardboard that I do. It's also helping me learn to express and state how I feel about things on a camera to no one else in the room. But still, it's a thing I don't do a lot of in a solo view like this. So it's kind of helping me crystallize how I believe about things in this type of a format. And so I want to follow up on a couple things with that. One is, I think there are comments that were made, which were great comments, that if you're a dealer, yeah, if you can buy raw cards, grade them for 20-ish bucks and sell them for more, I think that's great. I have no issue with that. I think the industry serves a purpose to help folks add value for sure. As long as you have a good eye to know what cards to do that for to add value. And certainly, I don't think I would ever grade cards that are $10 worth, right? And hope for a 10. I don't have that type of eye focus yet. And for me, just to kind of summarize, I didn't really say this, I don't think, but I kind of meant it. Grading is cool. I've bought graded cards before because they look great, and the card itself is what I'm looking for. At the end of the day, we're all buying pieces of cardboard and looking at the corners, the centering, the registration, the back, the creases or not, the wrinkles or not. We're buying pieces of cardboard. In some cases, they've already had an opinion put on them by a third-party company of various whatever name, PSA, SGC, whoever. Some cases, the cards are raw, and you can pick them up, feel them, feel the back, the front, examine up close those corners and wrinkles, and they don't have an opinion put on them yet. And so for me, I'm buying the card, and some cards I've fallen in love with are already in plastic, and the price they're selling for makes sense to me based on the value and where that's going to fit in my collection and my budget for that month too. Some cards I buy, and most of the cards I bought the last year or so, have been just raw cards, and those are going to stay raw. They're great. The card itself is what I'm buying. It displays well in a top loader or a slab of a company. But once I buy a card, it's usually going to stay in that condition I bought it in versus me trying to up value, not upsize, but kind of change the look of my collection for value purposes. I don't swim in the waters of having too many expensive cards. The ones I do have, most are below $50. I just keep them raw at this point. Put them in a binder, page, put them in a top loader, put them on a shelf next to something else that I have. It's all about me more kind of curating how I display the cards and what they mean to me, the team, the era, the set, the player, the beauty of the card. That beauty can be seen in a top loader without anybody's opinion on it, or it can be seen with someone's opinion on it too. And it can be beautiful both ways, but the card itself is what I'm dialing in on. And I think all of us have that view. So just to wrap it up for me, again, this is my opinion. I don't really have to say it. I'm just kind of saying it to practice how I think about things. Once I buy a card, if it's graded, it's going to stay graded by that same company. I'm not going to send it in to get re-graded or switched over to some other company. If I had the extra $20 to do that, which I mean I do, but I'm choosing to spend that money on more cards that may be graded or not. And if it comes in raw, it's going to come in, be put in an album page or in a top loader or something like that, and displayed or kept in a box somewhere. So where it comes to me is how it's going to stay. more money I have for buying more cards as I'm accumulating and getting into buying, players and sets and teams and eras and exploring that side of my collection. So that's my few minutes on grading there. So thank you for the comments before. And that's my opinion. Any comments you'd have on that, love to hear them and leave them below. That'd be great. Last part of the video, hopefully doesn't go too long, is going to be what's on the thumbnail, worded as something like, how do you value your cards? How do you value your vintage cards? And Brian over at Hodges 1455 had a great video on this a few weeks ago. And more or less to paraphrase, I think he and I have the same thought about it. We do a personal budget for our families. We have income coming in from our jobs. We have mortgage, car, food, light bill, vacation, whatever, clothes, and then entertainment. And for me, entertainment's called sports cards in my budget. Some months are different in how much I have, and some months are higher, some are lower. And once I say I have $200 to spend this month on cards, I'll spend that on cards or not. But once I spend it, it's gone. And the next month starts over again. Say we're in July now, we go to August. I've got a fresh $100, $200 to spend on cards that month. So it's kind of like an expense to me. It's an entertainment. It's entertainment of me being able to put together, and I'm looking at my card room right now, displays on the shelves and cabinetry and cards I have open to look at. I look at all the time. What can I do to enhance the entertainment value I get from my card room? And that could be buying a program, a helmet, a Kenner figurine, or cards, graded or raw. So for me, it's entertainment to improve, add more things that are beautiful in my mind to my card room and displays or my sets I'm building. And whether that budget's $100 or $200 or less or more, that's what it is. And so the value, how I value my cards, vintage, which they're all vintage more or less, how I value them is what I paid for them. If I bought 10 cards for $10 in my $100 budget, or I bought one card for $100, that's the value. I make sure that value, what I pay for it, what I give in cash in return for my piece of cardboard, is reasonably close to what other people have bought that card for by checking a few other apps that show sale listings. I'm not too far off, high or low. I don't mind being high, don't mind being low either if the card is a great appeal to me and how it looks and what it fits in my collection. But it kind of stops there. I think it's a $100 card. It's sold for 90 to 110. I buy it for 100. It comes in the mail. I love it. Look at it. Does it fit in my display on a shelf, in a box, in an album? Where does it kind of go? Does it help me finish some piece of my collection? Check it off my checklist that I have it so I don't buy it again. And I display it and I enjoy it. And that's kind of where it stops. I don't think about, will that card go up in value in a year, 5 years, 10 years? I'm not old enough, I don't think yet, knock on wood. And a lot of my cards aren't of the value that I don't really think about how my kids will receive them if something were to happen to me. Certainly something could happen anytime. But I'm not of that, I think, thought process yet. And my cards are generally all below $100, well below $20 in many cases. Would it suck if I lost them all? They were stolen. They just weren't in my collection anymore. Yeah, there's some money tied up in those over many, many years that I would hate to not have. And the value is important, but it's not a significant part of my overall household income or kind of house, car, things we own. It's not a big part of that. So I haven't taken that step to think about passing them on to kids or grandkids. When I buy a card, it's because I think it's beautiful. It fits a set, a run, a player, whatever I'm doing, and how I'm going to display the cards in my card room. It fits that. The money's in my budget, and I pull the trigger on it. And I don't think about it going up. I don't buy a card because I think it's going to go up in value or I think it's going to go to the moon. This is a rare, iconic thing with a low pop of 10. You better buy it now while you can before the price goes up and it's out of your price range. I can hand to God. That's never come up in my thought process. Now, I never bought cards that are that rare or that expensive that may be in that category. Maybe I never will. Maybe I will. But whether a card's going to go up in value or not, or is low pop, iconic, none of that comes into my thought process. It's all about what I'm collecting, the player I like, the set I like. And I think we'd all agree that we're collecting things we like. I would hope no one collects things they don't like or think are ugly just because they may have some future value. Now, maybe some people do because it's more about, investing and building up a value and your estate plan and leaving it to your grandkids, and these will go up in value. But you got to have some liking of the person, the team, the set. There's got to be some beauty, I would think, to that before you buy the card. Um, so I buy what I like, and that sounds so silly. You probably could have said, "Hey Tony, this could have been a 2-minute video. Buy what you like. Turn the camera off." But it helps me again crystallize how I think about things. And there were a couple of videos coming out the last 2 weeks that kind of touched on this topic more or less. How do you value your cards? Do you think about value beyond when you buy the card? Like, will it go up? Will it go down? Um, what are the cards to you? And we can go into the whole collector investor thing. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm definitely, all of us, I think, probably are collectors more at heart. We collect what we like, what we were exposed to, what we have a connection to, a team, a city, something our parents gave us, or a favorite player of our grandfather, father, or ours. We collect those players that no one else would ever collect, but we have a unique lifeline to that person somehow, and that's what makes collecting fun. So for me, if I buy the card for $100 or $500, that's the value. If it goes up, I mean, cool, I guess, but it's going to stay in my collection for me to look at and display and enjoy. Whether it goes from 500 to 1,000, I won't think about that card differently or try to sell it to flip it to buy something else. And if that $500 card goes to 200 because I don't know, this card in question there, all of a sudden a big treasure trove is unearthed of PSA 10 mint cards from that year, that player that all of a sudden flood the market and your card goes to 200. It was 500, right? Odds are that probably won't happen and enough value to shift the value of the cards I buy. And I'm definitely swimming in the lanes of vintage cards where players they've hit their home runs, they've struck out, they've been traded, they've had their scandals or not, and you can't do much more about that player's career and how the hobby maybe sees them and collectors see them. So I feel like the cards I'm into right now are pretty stable. But if they go down from 500 to 400, 50 to $30, 100 to 80, I don't think I'll never know. I mean, certainly I don't check the price guides. I check them before I buy the card to make sure I'm within a range of it's a good card to buy. It's reasonably, I'm in the middle range of where people have paid for the card recently. That's definitely a check. You have to do that because budgets are limited. We don't have unlimited funds to spend on cards. None of us likely do. But then, and almost before that or with that, 1A, 1B, does the card fit in my collection? Do I want a card of that player? Is it beautiful? Can I display it with some other stuff in my collection? If that checks the box and the budget's there and it's a fair price given recent sales, I'm buying the card. And once it's that card is $100 value in my mind. If I buy a card for $500, that's the value of that card to me. Now, there's value of having it for that player and the team and the set. That's intangible, but in terms of value, that's the value. Um, if I was presented with two cards to buy, and one was a player I collect, a team I collect, that was going to be pretty stable, I knew. Let's say I had a vintage time machine like Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2, I think it was. He went back in time or went forward in time, got the almanac, came back, right, made his money, built a tower, and knew all the scores of all the games, the races, things like that. If I had that and my card I bought was going to be $500 for the next 20 years, but a card next to it in the case was going to be $1,000 in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. If I don't have a connection to that card, even though it's going to go up in value, I'm not going to buy it. I want to buy a card that I want to collect and own for a connection that I have to that player, that team. So for me, future value doesn't play into it at all. If it goes up, great. If the card doesn't go up in value, I've got a card I paid $500 for that I can enjoy and look at every single day if I want to, and there's value in that. And if that card goes down to 500 to 400 to 300, from $60 to $40 to $30, I don't lose a wink of sleep over that. I bought the card at the price it was fair, at the time it was fair, and I get to have it in my collection. I get to say I own this card. I'm proud of this card. And that's kind of where it stops for me. As I wrap up, it's kind of like buying, like say you redecorate your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, right? You buy a new rug, you buy a print for the wall, um, rugs or a new couch. Couches can cost several $1,000s. Rugs could cost, I'm sure, as much as you want to pay for them. Let's just say $100 or more. A print can be $50, right? You buy it, you have a line in your budget probably for house repairs, house renovations. You spend the money. You've got a new living room, kitchen, bedroom. You enjoy that living room, kitchen, bedroom. And yeah, you paid 500 for the rug, but the cost already been spent. It's been spent. You have the rug to enjoy for 10, 5 years, whatever. You step on it, you walk on it, and once you redo your kitchen in 10 years, let's just say, you'll probably get rid of that print, get rid of that couch if it's been sat on for 10 years and there's some wear on it, and you'll probably give it to Goodwill, right? And you don't think about the future value, because I don't think about the future value of my couches I buy, because they're there to be enjoyed, laid on, watching TV on, or enjoy looking at the print on my wall, enjoy looking at whatever in the kitchen I just bought. It's there for enjoyment. And odds are when I sell it, get rid of it, change out my kitchen, my living room, I'll give it to Goodwill, give it to a friend, sell it for 10 bucks on Facebook. Don't lose a wink of sleep over that, because I got the usage out of it I wanted. And cards are not like that. Clearly, I think if you buy and collect players of a certain type, they won't be worth zero in 10 years. They'll be worth something, at least in the vintage side of things. So for me, I'll show you this card here. I've showed it before, but I'm not going to apologize for showing this card as much as possible. I will show it again. This is my 54 Ernie Banks rookie card. I got this on Facebook. This is the most expensive card I've ever bought, just below $500. Got some tape on it right there. Doesn't bother me at all. It's a sharp card otherwise. And it's my card. This is my version of this card I get to have and own and look at. And if this card goes from just under $500 to $300 for some reason, likely I won't ever know, because I don't check the prices. But I'm going to have this card forever. That's my thought right now. And it's worth that to me to be displayed. It was fair at the time I bought it. And frankly, I'm going to channel my inner vintage sanctuary. That is a wonderful one, alliterative adjective there, a wonderful one. I love it. Probably because of the tape at the bottom and some other stuff at the corners, but that fit with me and my collection. That fit with what I could buy. And so for me, I've been talking a lot. It's almost 17 minutes now. Going back to my question I asked, how do you value vintage cards? I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to leave a comment, I'd love to see it, love to hear it, read it. I value them based on what I paid for them, with the intent to hold them forever. If they go up, cool. It won't affect my life at all. If they go down, yeah, okay. It won't affect my life at all either. I don't have a time machine to know which one's going to go down or go up. I make the best call that I can in the month I have the budget, and I want to buy a card I can enjoy and look at. Whether it goes up or down, it's something I display, enjoy, and look at in my card room. So if I had a chance to buy two cards side by side, one was going to be stable and was going to go up threefold in 5 years. If I didn't like the player on the card that is a for sure bet to go up threefold in 5 years, I'm not going to buy that card. I think some would probably disagree and say, well, if you knew it, you should buy the card that's going to go up by threefold, because, right, why wouldn't you want to do that? Well, if it's a player or a team or a year I don't really get into, I'm not excited about, I could, but I want to buy cards I'm excited about with the teams and players and sets I collect. So others can, I think, have different opinions. I think it's great. That's why we're all on YouTube. We're all collecting differently. We all collected and valued our cards the same. It'd be kind of boring. But anyway, that's kind of my rambling. I saw a few videos on the topic of value, thought about it in my head a little bit. Should I do a video? Should I write something out? Not sure. But that's my thought on value. Thank you, Brian at Hodges1455, for that inspiration to do the video as well. It's part of my entertainment budget, and budgets can shift up or down. I'll be buying hopefully a little more and being open to buy some bigger cards at the National. They're cards of teams and players I want to learn more about and collect that are beautiful to me. They have a sentimental connection to me and who I like, the teams I follow. And it fits in my budget. I'll display them proudly and be glad I own them. But I'm not going to buy a card just because I think it's going to go up in value. I'm not buying cards for my kids or grandkids. Maybe in 20 years I'll think more about that. Right now it's about accumulating, collecting, enjoying the hobby, enjoying learning about the teams and players, and being able to display those cards. It's a part of my budget. It is an asset certainly that could have value and likely will hold value. But for me, it's kind of once I pay for it, it's gone. It's out of the budget. And I put it on display, look at it as often as I want to, and proud I have the card. So just under 20 minutes, I think I did okay. Thanks for those who are still listening at this point. Let me know how you value cards. Do you think about future values when you buy? think a lot of us would say maybe, or we just buy the cars we like that are beautiful to us. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, this is my opinion. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See y'all in Chicago. Have a great rest of the week and weekend. Travel safe, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.